Alright, so in my other video about the sonnets, which is the one that you should probably watch first, I talked about sort of kind of a general schematic of Shakespeare's sonnets. In this video, I want to talk about a couple specific poems, starting with Sonnet 29, um, which is a really kind of delightful love poem. It's representative of a lot of this, like many of the sonnets, it's in one sentence. If you look at it, there is a single sentence that lasts for 14 lines. There is, spoiler alert, a big turn in line 9, where the word yet appears at the beginning of a line. That's always a pretty clear indicator that a turn is happening when the poet says yet. But we'll get there. So, I mean, effectively, this is a fairly classic sonnet in that the first 8 lines are going to lay out one idea. The last 6 will lay out a sort of counter idea. So the first 8 lines. When in disgrace with fortune and men's eyes, I all alone beweep my outcast state, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries, and look upon myself and curse my fate. So right off the bat, the first 4 lines, speaker's not feeling great, right? He feels like he's in disgrace with fortune in men's eyes. Fortune meaning luck, men's eyes meaning how other people look at him. So basically it feels like he's down on his luck. Other people are looking down on him. Line 2 is really great. I all alone beweep my outcast state. So, you know, he feels like outcast state, meaning, you know, he feels lonely, he feels like an outcast. And to beweep means to sort of cry for yourself. But that I all alone beweep. The consonants on the L sounds in all alone, and also I suppose the alliteration on the A sounds, is really, really nice there. All alone beweep, and trouble deaf heaven with my bootless cries. Bootless meaning like pointless. So, you know, heaven is deaf to him. He's crying out, but no one's listening. And look upon myself and curse my fate. Well, I mean, my God, who hasn't been there? Who hasn't looked upon yourself and cursed your fate at some point in your life? So, first 4 lines, our speaker is bummed out. He feels lonely, life is not going well. The sentence continues. Wishing me like to one more rich in hope, featured like him with friends possessed, desiring this man's art and that man's scope, with that I most enjoy, contented least. So, the first lines 5 through 7, basically what Shakespeare discusses in lines 5 through 7 is sort of being jealous of other people, right? He wishes in line 5 that he were like somebody who he sees who's more rich in hope than he is. On the most basic level, just meaning someone who's more optimistic, though there is, I think, perhaps a financial implication to rich in hope too. Featured like him, meaning, you know, I wish I looked like that guy, who hadn't felt that way before. Like him with friends possessed, you know, he's seeing somebody who's got lots of pals. I wish I were like that guy. Desiring this man's art and that man's scope. So, you know, art meaning skill in general, but maybe also artistry, poetry, perhaps even specifically related to writing. That man's scope, meaning sort of like somebody's power, somebody's ability to interact with the world. And yeah, with what I most enjoy, content at least. So things that the speaker normally likes sort of bum him out right now. So the first 8 lines, basically the speaker saying, and remember, it all begins with when. So he's describing a certain time when something happens, right? When I feel this way. So, you know, when I'm in disgrace with fortune, I feel sorry for myself. I look at other people and I wish that I were more like them. And the stuff that I like, I don't like it anymore. And again, so basically saying when I'm depressed. Yet, this is line 9, this is our turn. Yet in these thoughts myself almost despising, haply I think on thee. And then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings that then I scorn to change my state with kings. Huh. Got the last 6 lines of this poem are so good. Anyway, so line 8, you know, even though I feel bad, or line 9 rather, even though I feel bad, yet in these thoughts myself almost despising. Haply I think on thee. So in line 10 he says, I feel down, but then I think about you. And as I mentioned in the other video, these early poems are about some young man. We're not sure who it is. So Shakespeare thinks about this guy. Haply I think on thee. And then my state, like to the lark at break of day arising from sullen earth, sings hymns at heaven's gate. So, my state, meaning like his emotional state, suddenly it takes off, right? A lark is a bird. And suddenly it's like his soul, when he thinks about this person, so he was depressed, then he thinks about this person, and then it's as though his soul takes flight. Specifically that it takes flight almost like a lark at break of day arising, a lark in the morning. Note again, we have the alliteration on L, like lark. I would even point out there's an LLB thing, like lark break, that somewhat echoes all alone beweep from line 2. So he's sort of like done a sonic echo from a dark moment in the poem, but now it's a light moment. Also, the enjambment at the end of line 11 is brilliant. Shakespeare doesn't enjam a lot in the sonnets. Mostly they're end-stopped. Most of these lines have punctuation at the end. But every once in a while he enjams to great effect. And in this case, the fact that it's enjammed on a rising, like literally the line, we're pushed over the line and we speed up our reading precisely at the moment where he's talking about the bird rising up into the air and taking flight, arising from sullen earth, sing hymns at heaven's gate. A lark is a songbird, of course, and that's what his soul feels like. When he thinks about this person that he cares about, he feels like he's singing songs to heaven. For thy sweet love remembered such wealth brings, that then I scorn to change my state with kings. So there in the final couplet, he says, when I remember your love, I feel so wealthy that I wouldn't even change place with a king, even if I could. Which is, yeah, that's really something.